All right, welcome. So, I don't think we're gonna get into live viewers. I just want to make a record here of some thoughts that I was having that I thought I could maybe explain a little better. That probably works. Okay, so let's just focus a little more on the number 9 and the alphabet just for a minute. So I want you guys to see that. Look at how the number 9, 2 plus 7 is 9. 4 plus 5 is 9. 1 plus 8 is 9. Here, 3 plus 6 is 9. 3 plus 6 is 9. 3 plus, same. So all these numbers here, 1 plus 8 is 9. So this ring always intersects at a point, and that point is a 9. And the 9 is the completion. So 8 plus 1 equals 9. But then that 9 is there. And so it shows the fractal nature of every number. So whenever you see an 8, you should automatically be seeing its opposite of a 1. Okay? Or in the reverse. So remember again, guys, the 9 is in the 13th position. 1, 2, 3, go around and think Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, or if you're doing the amino acids, adenine, tyrosine, some. So Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces. The 13th zodiac is not in the sky. It's the center point of the wheel. So the 13th point of the wheel is this. It's this number 9. So if man can understand the wheel, he could understand maybe more stuff than he does. So the number 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So this is why it's in the 13th position. Alright, so another little bit of a proof or whatever. So when you're counting through here, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12. Here is the 13th position, okay? Here's another way, if I wanted to write a 13, I could write a 3, right? I'll write a better one. I can do better than that. That's all messed up. Okay, and then I can write, for the 13th position, I'll add a 1 there, okay? So what do you have there? You have 13. Okay, it's showing you that this is what the 13 represents. It represents the by 12 by 12. We have a 12 by 12, but really what it means is it's 12, and then this is half a 12, this is half a 12. Okay, because it's only really 12. This is not 2 wheels. You don't want to have two wheels necessarily. I mean, unless you had a reason for describing it like that. But those were the kind of the big ones I want to show here. Is the 13th, guys. I missed this before, showing you that the 1 and the 3, the 13th. Further proof that this N is the 13th letter. N is the 13th letter in the alphabet. And it's also the 13th number. The 13th number. But this is when you're looking at numbers as a description of how an echoing or a ripple is working. And this is what we are, would be the argument, is that, that this is all a waving effect or whatever. I mean, that gets into, everyone's going to have kind of gets into where metaphysics, your own conception. Where I kind of like to keep it the symbols, because then that, wherever you're at, that's going to hopefully help you go to the next level. We talked about the John 3:16, the 3:16. Hey, why that's important, what you're really looking at when you're looking at 396. Because they're really, when Tesla's saying, try to look at the power of 3, 9, and 6 for the power of the universe or whatever. Well, he could just as well be saying, look at the power of John 3:16. What he's trying to say is that don't forget about the 9. The 9 doesn't exist. This is like Tesla's own shit, right? When you put the 9 up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? And then do the doubling sequence. 1, 2, 4, 8, 8, 7, 5. Why does that not work 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. Went backwards. Anyway, here's here. And then you have your 9, 3, 9, 6 here. Okay, but then really you can see that the 9 isn't really, these aren't really doing anything. These 6 and 3 are switching back and forth. The 9 doesn't exist. So you can get rid of it. And maybe Tesla was trying to cue us in on that when he was putting the 9 in the middle. He didn't say 6, 3, 6, 3, 6, 9. He said 3, 9, 6. Okay? And so what that 9 is, if the 9 is also what we've been talking about, a line, then that's this. John 3:16. And what that is it's just showing you a representation of electricity. A z-axis, east and west. Or west and east, depending on how you say it. And then you have your east-west rotation. Rotation going east to west brings you up, I believe, and then brings you down. And this is why, however our reality's worked out, it might be a globe. It's super suspicious, they don't have any proof of it. But the reason why they think it's a globe is because our world is connected to our mind. And it's there's an up and a down to nature. You know, like everything is this. Bottom, top. North, that gives it a north and a south. What that does is it gives it an axis, so it gives it a line. And when you give the line a direction, okay, now it's spinning. Spinning up or spinning down. And so that's how this kind of one thing is twisting forward. And that's kind of the primary motion. And they're describing that in a pentagram. Or the Pentagon building is they're showing a human man. This is just the shape of a man. 2 arms, head, heart in the middle, 2 legs. And this is the shape of everything. What is the shape of the cosmos? It's going to be the same shape as a man, you know? I mean, if more advanced life or something did show up and was like, nah, you're our pet, I mean, that would be really amazing. That would be amazing. I would be amazed by that very amazing story. You know, I would be amazed by it. I would be like, wow, that's really weird. But I wouldn't be shocked to find out that this is accurately correct at all, because it's like the word naka. It means it can't be any other way, you know? And so when you're talking about, to me, about outer space and stuff, and like I'm a pretty good imaginative dude, and so like I believe that stuff, but if you have to compare like the reality of the world being, you know, this shape of electricity, and then you can go around and see this shape in electricity, see it in magnetism, see it in our whole life, see it just constantly repeated in religious texts and by Tesla and stuff, is trying to show you this shape of the Holy Trinity, which is the holy conversation is down the middle. So this is the holy conversation, okay, or the holy child, the Holy Ghost, maybe. C and G are the same, see? C and G could be either exchange these letters for God. Okay, and so this you could have this will be the left-hand side. So this is the male. Okay. Let me just get this a little room here. So this is the left-hand side, so you have your man, or your male, your female. And why is electricity always just a plus and a minus? Okay, and here's your holy conversation down the center, or the interaction between these two things, which is the same thing. And so male, female, plus, minus, you have your 3, your 1 here, and then your 6 over here. your 316, or your 3-9, because 9 is a line, 1-6. And so this shape of this Holy Trinity is the, you know, and like you see it here, this is the Trinity. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Everything is going to break down into, you know, the same, because things are fractal in nature. We know that. We know that when we're looking up into the sky and down into a microscope, the things, I'm not saying they're the same, but everything is going to take the same shape. And the shape of this world is the shape of man. Or really, if you want to get down to it, it's the shape of the 9 or the feminine. We all start out as an XX chromosome. I mean, some people get crazy with this stuff, and I love it. Is they say that, like, you know, there's evidence that, like, you know, in ancient history, like, there was no men. It's all women, you know. And what I think those stories are kind of true. They ring to us because there is a truth in that we do all, we all are at a base, a 9. And then out of that 9, we become a 3 or a 6. And we do associate the feminine with the 9, okay? And if you flip the 9 over, you got a 6. And when you're looking at like the phi ratio, you're looking at a ratio of 1 is the man, 1.625 something or something like that is phi. So you have your 1 over phi relationship, where this is, another way to look at man is to say L. It's funny how they call women L, you know, as they do this stuff. Or you could call man, you could also call man soul. You could say it's soul. 1 over phi is the same way of saying soul over Luna. Okay, or sun over moon. It doesn't mean the moon is higher. You don't understand anything about math. This is a 1, this is 1.62 whatever. So if you understood math, you would actually understand that women can create life, so they're literally 0.62 whatever, a lot, 60%. Women are literally 60% greater spiritually, however that works out, than men could ever be, you know. But anyway, yeah, let me just kind of think about that. We'll recap. Probably just let's cut this off, make it a little shorter. So let you guys kind of again see. I'll do these lines back in here because I kind of like to keep this. So you see, you got your US TV, and I would love if anybody to kind of I'll have to use the black one, to look at any of this stuff and point out any extra things, you know. I really like this one though, this 3-1. It's in the 13th position. They're leaving hints for us everywhere, guys, because no matter how deep they put us in artificial intelligence, no matter how deep they put us in 1984, it's our collective mind that's awake together. It's connected together. So they only can run. And we're going to be running right behind them, because as much as they think that we're not all family, they think they're a family and we're some other family. We all are one family. They are the part of the family that is probably going to be set up for some punishment in the near future. But these aren't anything that I have to do with, you know. But I do think that me as a sovereign man, I understand my rights. I understand that I live in a prison, and I understand that, for example, like, I'll do a video on this later, but the cops are the Crips gang. So they're the same thing. I mean, granted, they're not this, but the same thing. If you could see that when they created the Crips gang, you know, which uses a 6-pointed star, I say, hey, Crip, what's behind the sun? They gotta say back, 6-pointed star. In the Crips bylaws, it's just about following orders, and basically don't read books, follow orders. It's funny, you read what the Blood say is it's totally the opposite. But they play this in life too, is they have like the free-thinking sovereign represented by the red, and then they have the government control 1984 represented by the blue. The problem is the red is always sort of a psychological operation in that the red is always paid men. You know, it's like that's why Donald Trump. If Donald Trump was a true G, was truly a guy that wore his red flag out his back pocket, you know, which none of these gangsters do. You would be an honorable man. You'd respect women. You know, you'd respect your family. You know, it would be a law that you would be disallowed from raping people, which the cops aren't disallowed from raping, firemen aren't disallowed from raping, and Crips members aren't disallowed from raping. Nobody in the folk nation is. The folk nation. It's funny that the Crips have a German name and a Jewish star representing them. You can see where this symbolism is. It's all tied in, you know, but you know, it gets into a bigger conversation. But anyways, guys, let me know. Leave your questions and comments. Remember, guys, if you haven't seen this before, remember this is a doubling sequence from the rodent coil. 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. Okay, we start over again because 64 would bring us back to the 100 in the numerology. But the real way to look at this is that these are representations of the 360. The 32 is basically as high as you get. You know, when you get back to the 1, then you're representing 64. And then when you're representing the 2, then you're representing 128. You know, when you're representing this one, then you're representing, you know, 256, 412, 824, 1648, etc. But your mind will eventually be able to do that math pretty easy. Like I don't even try to do it, and I'm not good at math. But what I am good at is seeing how motion works, because I'm a martial artist, you know, and so I can see how this motion is going out, 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 out. But of course it's all the same thing. My hand isn't adding or subtracting anything, but it is changing shape. And that's what this is showing. There is no addition or subtraction in the world. The world is a picture, like an egg, and the egg oscillates, and that oscillation is life happening. Because enough oscillations, you're going to start to form lines of force, and those lines of force will create some angles, and those angles will create the shapes, and those shapes will create a world that we can exist in or whatever. And so you can see the doubling. 3 doubles to 6, doubles to 12, which goes back to 3, double, 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 or you can think of it as 120, 120, and then and then here, going up 10, 20, 40, or 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. You can see again here the number combination, you get a little better look of it here. You got your AO, you can see how AO is, well actually its first associated would be 3, but it really could be either one. You could associate one with one, one with the other, but then they would switch. And the same thing, like your M and your Z are associated with your doubling sequence. You know, so you're seeing your Q aren't. That's back in your 6-3 sequence. Your B and your P are. That's why your B and your P have a special relationship with your D and your R. You see, 1 to 2. And you can see how they have that same relationship. P to R to D to D. Okay? And so, the same thing like I pointed out before, you got all your quality control doctor, you can see all your number combinations. You can see how the people who have access to understanding what I would call the wheel, they have come up with this stuff. But then again, they might not really understand what I'm doing here, you know. If they don't, then they should pay me, because this shit is fucking copyright. And living in their left-handed Luciferian copyright world, you gotta pay a motherfucker if you want the knowledge. In my world, where I live in the Great Tartaria, you know. I have a spiritual red flag hanging out the right side of my spiritual pocket, you know, for life. You know, this is my blood, my family. I don't live in the artificial intelligence world, you know. But I also understand the balance. You have to balance out your Saturnian discipline of your blue side and your red side of you sometimes it's represented as all the red side, your more sexual energies is why the women cover up in Muslim countries, because they worship sexual energy. They worship the god that's represented by the sexual energy, where the blue would be represented by the discipline. But these are always switching back and forth. I mean, a lot of times and they think of this as the woman in the blue side, you know, the liberal side or whatever. And so don't get yourself, you don't want to get into a point like me calling myself a blood or whatever. You don't want to, that it's like for fun only, you know what I'm saying? It's like, alright, if we're gonna all run up on a team and play shirts and skins or bloods and crips, I'm a blood, okay, in the mythology of it. Because what it means is, what the Crips are is they're from the crypt. Like, we're here, Tales from the Crypt, that's what it's from. It's from old Jewish stories. There's two gangs in there, and one gang is called the Crips. And they're like, oh, we walk like the Crips. I mean, granted, they have stories about because they're cripples or a bunch of other things. Those aren't true. Those stories are made up. They're from the crypt. And so these people are the walking dead. And it has to do with, like, following orders and being in a gang like that. Because then look at what the Bloods say. The Bloods are everything the opposite. Like, what's behind the moon, blood? A book of knowledge. What that's saying, blood to blood, is telling them, like, that what Bloods are about is about gaining wisdom and about being a father. Being about the blue is about following the Pope. Okay? But being a blood is about living in anarchy. It's like living in the Great Tartaria, you know? Find out why your history teachers have never told you about the biggest country that's ever existed in our history, the Great Tartaria. You know, I mean, they'll give you a little bullshit answer about how there was no organization or whatever. It's like, no, that was like the, like my buddy was pointing out there, it's just like in Game of Thrones, the land in the north, exactly the same. We don't have a king, you know, and that's where I'm from. So in my world, this is always free information. You can't charge interest. You can't play those fucking games in my world. That shit don't fly in the Great Tartaria. You can't fucking tell somebody, oh hey, you can't come up with a little fucking, a sneaky little fucking plan in a back room to trick somebody just because you're more clever than them or they are more honest than you. And it's not necessarily a sign of high intelligence to fuck people over. When you realize that there is no addition and subtraction in the world, it's all one thing, and it's all just changing shape. We're all going to meet back up in the green room of life. You know what I'm saying? So for all you fucking motherfuckers, realize you guys are all going to have to meet me again. You know? And I will be just as difficult, if not more, when I'm dead. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think. Peace out.